Hi.
Hi. Well, hello. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not super excited about today. I've got not a lot of energy for this day. It feels like I've got a lot of work ahead of me, and the profit or the progress is not that great. It's just like work that needs to be done. Stuff broke, you have to fix it. It doesn't move you forward in life. And I am in a season where I need to move forward in life. But talking about moving forward in life, I am very chuffed. As you can hear, the audio is fantastic, even though I'm standing 3 meters away from my phone. And it is because of this. As some of you might know, I've got another YouTube channel called Easy Trade Racing. That's my company. We do these radio controlled cars. And I've got a couple of thousand subscribers on that channel. And that channel has generated some income for us, which we hope to do on this channel as well very, very soon. And with that income, I buy gear. I buy stuff that improves my YouTube videos. So it's specifically YouTube money for YouTube stuff. And next on the list was this beautiful thing on my chest, which is a wireless microphone. I'm very, very, very happy because it's going to improve our audio so much. And to prove it, check this out. I'm all the way back here. Why am I shouting? Because you can hear me clearly. So, as you know, we are on the Homestead, and I am going to fiddle with the pump again today. We have been stopped by the rain. There has been like 130 millimeters of rain in the last couple of days, so could not have worked yet. Today is a beautiful sunny day, as you can see it, and that is gonna give me some time to get this pump sunk. The one thing that I didn't take into account is with a bigger pump, they said you need 250 watts or more, and my one panel I remember was 280. When I looked at the manual, it said ideally you want two 250 watt panels or one 620 watt panel. Luckily, we do have extra panels that came from the farmhouse, which we couldn't use because they weren't compatible, and they've actually been in storage here on the Homestead. Michael is busy checking the specs for us to see which two panels we can use, and then we're A for away. The last time we were here, I managed to make two connections for the new piece of cable that I installed, and I managed to heat shrink one of them. Which is so cool about this Borehole heat shrink is when it gets hot, there's like a liquid that comes out and it glues it to the cable. So I'm also going to wrap rubberizing tape around each end to make sure that it is also 100% waterproof. But yeah, all the connections has been made. The new pipe will go in there, which is laying over there. And then we are going to sink it and see if we can get some water today. Okay, so the first order of business is to heat shrink these cables together. So I've just joined all of them there. And we've got this first piece. Even though it's wet, it will dry very fast with the heater. So I've got this first piece that just goes over all the cable joints, makes it waterproof, and then we put a second one over it to make it doubly waterproof. Okay, there's the first one done. I'm just going to let it cool down a bit because the cable obviously warms up a lot as well. And then the second one, which is much bigger, will slide over the first and then keep everything nice and tight like that. All right, let's just leave that one to cool down a little bit. Maybe put it in the shade. Okay, now we're doing the big one, but I'm not going to bore you with that, so you can join us as soon as I'm done. That's it, all done. The glue came nicely out of the cable there. And now I'm going to use some more rubber sealing tape to seal the ends. There is no real easy way to measure the cable to the pipe. So all I did was lay the cable down next to the pipe like this. And then right at the end, there's the end of it. I got everything connected up, all the ropes, everything to make it nice and strong. So obviously the pipe just needs to be shorter than the cable so that it doesn't hang on the cable. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up, so the pipe is going to end there. I'm going to come up maybe 1 meter. I hope that will be a safe distance. I'm going to give it a little bit more thought. But yeah, I got to come up 1 meter, cut the pipe over there so that I've got 1 meter of slack in the cable, because the cable is pretty close to the pipe. Shouldn't give me too much issues. And now I got to just quickly YouTube a little bit how to fit these high compression fittings, because you got like this massive O-ring, and to put the O-ring in and then shove the pipe in, it's so tight unless I use a little bit of Vaseline. So let me go YouTubing and get this thing connected. I managed to put my first HDPE pipe fitting on, and lubrication is key. That's what I saw everybody on YouTube do. You must lubricate it. So I didn't have any grease with me. I thought, hey, we normally have a little Vaseline in the car. Went to check, I can't find it anyway. So somehow I think it might have ended up in the house. So all I did find in the car was this little chapstick. So I used this chapstick to lubricate that big fat O-ring, and eventually I got it in there. Booyah! So now I got to do the same on the other side with the pump. I thought of putting the pump this side, but then I got to pull the whole pipe back on itself. That's silly, man. So I put this fitting on this side. I'm going to put the pump on the borehole well side so that I can just drop it straight. I don't need to fold the pipe on itself. So let's get to it. Okay, we are ready to drop this borehole, and it is quite nerve-wracking because the pipe that I decided to use is obviously very thick, a lot thicker and a lot heavier. I also bought a polypropylene rope that does not absorb water, and it's very, very strong, almost like a bungee type of rope. I doubled up on the rope that's around the borehole pump. So now just the moment of truth is, like, the deeper you drop it, the heavier it gets. Can me and Mikhail hold the weight of a 30 meter or 40 meter, because it gets lighter when it hits the water, right? Can we hold the weight of this pipe? Yes, we can. Because if we lift it up and put it on the trailer, anyway, here goes nothing, or here goes everything. Okay, so what I want to do now is check here. The air is literally lifting the pipe. So just hold all three of these quickly. Just hold it that the pipe doesn't lift. I want to see something. The air in the pipe is pushing the pipe up to let it float. So we have to somehow get water in it, and the only way I can think to do that is to turn it on. So we're going to leave everything like this. Just tie these ropes and things to something so they don't fall down the hole, because they are currently heavier than the pipe. And then we are going to go turn the pump on, and hopefully it sucks water up the pipe and make it heavier. So the new control box is installed. It's just not connected to solar panels yet. There's no power. So we are going to put a second panel next to this one and then connect them all together, put them in the control box, and let's power it up and see what happens. We have successfully connected both panels together. We have connected positive to positive and negative to negative, and then the two outgoing cables, negative and positive, to the control box. Hi! Alright, so the connection is not pretty because I'm still doing testing. So I just shove the cables in like that and hope they don't touch anything, which they're not. And then it says here that there is power and that the pump is currently off. So you can't see it because it's flashing because of our frequency interference. But now I want to go through settings here, because it should say how much power and stuff it's getting. So let's see, what do I press? Enter, switch, reserve, set. Okay, so none of the buttons work because the pump is off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to temporarily turn it on and see if the pipe sucks up some water. And the sun is shining beautifully. So I just came back here to the borehole, untied the cable a little bit to give it some slack, and untied the rope because the rope wanted to drop down the hole. And then as I untied the rope, I felt weight. So it actually seems like the pipe started sucking up water slowly, and now it's full of water, and now the pipe wants to drop again. So we're going to continue dropping it without turning on the pump for now. Or maybe, I wonder if we should just test the pump at this height. Oh, this is so stressful. All right, go. Okay, so it's giving an error. So this is what I was obviously anxious about. Okay, so here's the booklet, and basically we're getting an error 3 flashes, which says that pump impeller has stopped by something. Please check the pump impeller is working good or not. So now I used to get this error on my previous control box when there wasn't enough oomph to turn the pump. So I'm hoping it's just that. I'm not too sure. I'm going to keep trying. So I saw that errors can occur if the wiring is also swapped around in the control box. So I just rewired it the same as the old pump, but they say just wire it differently and see if that works. I wired it the same as the internet says, well, how most people wire it, and it still gave me the same error. So we're going to pull the pump and put in a bucket of water and see if we can get it going. My muscles are pretty tired. That was a good workout for my biceps. And they're resting now. So what I did is got a bucket, filled it with water. I'm putting the pump in the water so it's submerged, obviously. And then Mikhail's going to turn it on again to see if it's actually spinning in here, because it might be a wiring issue. So I wired it like the internet said. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep trying different wire modifications, whatever, until it pumps, because it says you can even pump it the wrong way. So Mikhail's going to turn it on. I'm going to feel if this thing is actually trying to spin. Okay, Mikhail, you can turn it on. Okay, so the pump went like turuk, 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 turuk. Okay, now we can exactly see what's happening. As you can see here, I've got yellow, blue, red, as the internet said. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap red and yellow and see if that makes a difference. It's definitely off. Okay, they have been successfully swapped, as you can see there. And now we're waiting for a little bit of sunshine. Then we're going to turn it on again and see if we've got happy days. Okay, here comes the sunshine. We should have full sun in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Mikhail's going to watch the water. I'm going to watch the controller.
No water.
No water, nothing. And this thing went like 150 watts, 220, 330, 220. Like the watts went all over the show.
Because it's going up. Then it realizes, hey, it's not turning. Why is it not turning? And then it stops giving it power.
Okay, so all I can do now is swap it again. It has been about an hour, I think, we've been circling, trying to get this thing to run. I disassembled the whole top end of the borehole pump now, and it looks like the last fitting that screws into the pump, the plastic one, was too long while I'm having a cup of coffee. So now I'm going to take the top of the pump off where the worm is and just see if I can turn the worm freely by hand. Cool, so we just loosened up this shield that goes around the pump, the worm or whatever you call it, so that I can see if I can turn the worm by hand. Thank you. So basically it does get replaced though. What do you replace? I'm sure this whole thing gets replaced. So now the worm should spin freely, which it does. I just want to see if this worm spins.
The thing is, because of this rubber piece, it could wang doodle around.
Check here, pump, one panel, 250 watt.
So maybe it's getting too much power.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm going to put it back together because I don't believe any of this has something to do with it not spinning. I'm going to disconnect one of the panels and then try it again and then try some different rewiring. I don't know. Then I have to phone the supplier. I am quite frustrated. The next solution or the next thing I could think of was that maybe it's this panel. So I asked Mikhail to connect up the other panel, but doing that, saying that it might be this panel, raises so many more questions. Because my previous borehole pump packed up because I thought there was a hole in the bottom. Well, there was a hole in the bottom, but maybe it just ran like that anyway, and it stopped running because of this panel instead of anything else. We swap panels now, and just as we swap panels, that happens. I am properly frustrated because now I have to wait for the sunshine. and we've got some blue skies on that side, but our weather comes from that side, so we ain't got no blue skies coming very soon. My next test was to try another panel. This is a 330 watt panel. Now it's a 250 watt pump. On the pump it says one panel, 250 watt, connect to control box, connect to pump. The pump, this control box, the manual says two 250 watt panels or one 600 watt panel. So I don't know, right? So we tried the two panels, it didn't work. I tried this panel, thought it might be broken. Tried that panel, it did the same thing. It says the propeller won't turn, but even though with the hand it turns easily. So now I've got a 330 watt panel, no sun, but we're getting bursts in between. Here and there's bursts of sunlight. So I tried the 330 watt on the new control box. It gave me 280 watts, like 290 watts through the clouds in some sunbursts with 10 amps, which the box says is fine. And it still said impeller can't turn. So now my last test is the old control box. I disconnected this one and I reconnected everything to the old box. Now the old box obviously shows power because it's getting a little bit of power from that panel, but it's not enough yet to turn it on. So I'm not turning it on. I wired it exactly the same as the new box, as the new box was running. So this is the proof in the pudding. If this thing says alarm, 3 flashes, then it means the propeller won't turn. But this one is not as sophisticated with a digital screen and stuff. So I don't know how many amps, how many watts, nothing. I don't know, yeah, if it's too low volts, low amps, whatever. It will just flash there different flashes. So if it's flashing 3 times, then it means the impeller or the propeller, the motor can't spin. I just need one ray of sun. Just one ray on my panel. It feels like there's a little bit bright light. Okay, Mikael, look at that water there. I'm going to turn it on. Three flashes. One, two, three. So I'm fed up. I've tried everything. There was very good sunshine. Now we turned it on. It looks like the motor wants to turn a little bit. I've chat GPT'd, I've Google AI'd, and the last thing that it came up with is there might be a short in my cable. It is possible. There's a lot of joints on it, and 2 of them I soldered, which I'm not happy about. I should have crimped them, but I didn't have ferrules. So now the only way I can test whether it's a manufacturer error or not is to take the pump I received it, the way I received it, and I've learned a lot. This is how I'm going to do it next time. Cut it off and connect it from the pump, just the pump black cable as it came in the box, straight to that control box, straight to the panel, and see if it does the same thing. If it does the same thing, then this pump needs to go back. And luckily where I cut it off, it would look brand new and it can go back, but that would be super frustrating. I'm hoping it's a bad connection on my part because it's an easy fix. But if I have to send it back and wait another couple of weeks, refund or return or whatever, I'm not up for it. So let's get cutting. Okay, so this is where I've been testing it in the bucket, seeing that it turns a little bit. This is the original cable. This is my first joint from the original cable to my cable. This is a very strong joint. This was an expensive joint. This joint cost me $9, 150 Rand, and I had to buy 2 of them to extend the cable. So, I mean, it's very, very sad, but it's the only way that I can be certain, and it's the only way I can get this thing to work. It already cost me 5,800 Rand, this whole thing, which was out of budget. And so I'm going to have to make that up in the next month or 2. So I'm going to cut it here. This is brand new. It is off. There's no power connected to it. Here we go. It's done. Nothing else I can do about it. Now it's done. I'm going to take this thing, connect it straight to the control box and see if it turns exactly the same. I hope I was in the shot. Okay, I've done the connection. This is the old cable disconnected. I took it straight from the pump, that cable I just cut, and I connected it exactly as it was with the old cable, straight in there. Pump is in the water, but as you can see, there's no shade here. meaning no sunshine. We are going to wait. Hopefully we get a burst of sunlight so I can just turn it on, take a video, test it, and hope that it actually works. So Mikhail opened up one of the joints that looked like it might have been the one giving us trouble, and he thinks he found the problem. The one piece of insulation tape had a hole in it, which looked like it was touching the other cable inside of the waterproofing. Oh, and look at that. I've got a shade. That means I've got sunshine. Let's go turn it on and test that pump.
Shadow, not shade. Right there. And then the blue cable is taped to it right on top of that hole. And then there's this little piece of solder sticking out there.
Soldering is rubbish. We're going to cut it off and put ferrules. Okay, friends, here comes the moment of truth. And I'm actually very lucky. There is not a single cloud in front of the sun. We've got full bright sun. So let's fire it up, see what happens. There we go. Ooh, look at that spin. Okay, and then it goes slower. Then it stops. Huh. So it spins the right way around, and it spun for a little bit, and it stops and spun again. Let's try again. There we go. Full power. That's it. That was it. It was the cable. It's just very late and I have to get to the OVK to buy some chicken food. So this is going to be a project for tomorrow maybe. I'll see how tomorrow goes. If you want to see where our borehole saga started, then click right here. If you don't know what to watch, YouTube recommends you watch this video. And if you want to see our channel grow into something beautiful, this button is for you.